Thank you, first off.
No, man. Thanks for having me, bro. I'm glad I saw you. Where were we at?
We was at
Brewers.
Brewers
Yeah.
Cafe. Shout out to Brewers Cafe.
What up, AJ?
Look, we endorsing everybody today. We are building up the community.
Let's go.
And you know what? I have to start with just basically showing my appreciation because, you know, I'm a sponge for what I'm a listener.
Gotcha.
And I'm a sponge for what I hear. And I've heard you say a lot of things. And yesterday we spoke about the difference maker, the change maker.
Yeah.
But you're doing that because you are entertainment industry icon. You know,
Man.
I mean,
I'm just trying to get it, man.
but you've done very well. And the fact that you're mentoring people like me and the greater city of Richmond, you know, the creatives in the community is commendable, and we really appreciate it.
Man, you know, it's one of them things that, you know, somebody is doing it for me, has done it for me, and I think it's the balance of life, you know, learn and teach at the same time. And I think if you stay in the middle of that, I think you pretty much stay humble too. Yeah.
And you've done it at a lot of levels. You know, evidence in the fact that today, you know, you're working with a guy who's starting, you know, on the come up, you know, and I'm very humble about it. But, you know, from an artist standpoint and as a younger creative person, I've Googled and I've done a lot of research over the past couple of days in anticipation of this interview. And seeing you do it in all levels and being willing to just come down here and get in the basement, you know what I mean?
Man,
it's greatly appreciative, sir.
The basements is where it's happened, son.
Hey.
That's why I started in basements. You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
Never bigger than the basement. Come on.
I tell you what, man. No one's gonna do you bigger than I am when it comes to this Sway in the Morning interview. This Sway in the Morning intro.
Let's go.
We streaming Facebook Live. This is the Randy Wilson podcast. We're streaming live on Instagram as well, and we're streaming on everyone else's social media as well, who's also in here.
Yeah.
We have Journey 7, who I told you is a production company, does a lot of great things throughout the Virginia area. You need to find them if you're not familiar with them. I have my cousin Kaiser Score in here, who's been with me since September, since we first started this vision of what we wanted to do. I have my friend from Out of Sight Films, Paul Moyer, here from Roanoke, Virginia. Look, we wanted to be set up for you, sir. And,
Roanoke, stand what, 460, right? 81, pick a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So, you know, I want to make sure that we give that Sway in the Morning introduction. This podcast is really all about building up our community, trying to create a presence, build a presence, and strengthen the community with what we do.
Word.
Micah Bamm Bamm White, comedian Micah Bamm Bamm White. He's performed, did I Google 4 countries, 80 cities, pretty much all over the United States of America. Okay?
I got 14 states left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually it's about 130 cities.
Okay.
When I wrote my bio with the 80, I was like, all right, just get to a certain number that sounds good and put it out there, as long as it's true.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more than that. But I got 14 states left, and mainly that's like Maine, Vermont, those Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota. I got to find a way to get to those states.
Hey, yeah, man. Look, I hope I can be a part of the process.
Let's go.
We're gonna podcast everywhere you go.
I got gas money. Come on, man.
and I'm looking to do that. Actually, I'm looking to set up shop in different coffee shops and just and have that dialogue so we can have an audience as well.
Right.
20 years in the entertainment industry. 20 years.
Yeah, it'll be 23 March 24th. I started March 24th, 1996 at a spot called Reed's Lounge in Birmingham, Alabama. Actually in Fairfield, Alabama. Ricky Smiley had a night that he was bringing comics in. And my roommate at the time went to school with Ricky. But Ricky and I knew each other. But we really got close once I started doing comedy at the spot. So we went one night. I saw the show. I went after the show and asked Ricky, could I do it next week? He was like, yeah, man, come on out. So all week I worked on my bit, standing in the mirror, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the next week, got on stage, did it. And literally, man, within, I would say 30 seconds, I knew it was what I would be doing for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Like, I knew it.
Wow.
It was like no question about it. It was a feeling that I can't, that doesn't compare to anything else that I've ever done. I knew it like that.
And it's interesting you say that because you've been in entertainment longer than comedy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you know, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that, but I mean, I've seen you sing, I've seen you've been in movies. I mean, we can gloat a little bit. He's been in Denzel Washington, I think. You've been in a movie with him.
Man, I was in Unstoppable with Denzel. I was in Army Wives, which come on the Lifetime Network.
Alabama's finest, man.
Yeah, but both of those, shout out to my homeboy Belton. Belton was the one that squeezed me through those doors. And Belton, he was the barber for the set that
Okay.
was there. But Belton also was one of the state troopers on The Wire.
Any relation to Zoe Belton?
Her dad.
Oh, okay. I know
Yeah,
Zoe.
yeah,
Wow.
yes, yeah.
Wow.
Why,
Okay.
yeah. Why Belton? In both.
I don't know him personally, but I've heard a lot about him.
A good dude, man.
Yeah.
Good dude. Yeah, I was headed to Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Steelers show. I mean, it's Pittsburgh Steelers game. Shout out to my homeboy James Ferrier. And they were filming Unstoppable at the oldest Hooter, the very first Hooters in the U.S., which is right outside of Pittsburgh. So I just went by to see what the set looked like. One thing led to another. I'm in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Same thing with Charleston, South Carolina. I'm on my way to Charleston to do a show in Charleston. I knew Belton was there filming Army Wives. Stopped by the set. Bam, same thing.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I've recognized in just watching a lot of video, and again, trying to be a student of this. I'm trying to study people a little bit in the process before we
Right.
just have conversation. And you speak with conviction. I mean, it's no surprise. It's not like a drop in the bucket that you have become who you are. You are who you are supposed to be.
appreciate that.
God made you to do what you do. You're living your passion, and it's evidence when you look. I mean, when I listen to you speak, I see you think. I see you think through it. I mean, I'm sharing this because as we get into comedy and we talk about, people like you, I believe, help change the narrative. Because a lot of people's perception of comedians is that they're just funny people. They don't recognize the business people, the community leaders, the advocates, the fact that they're, men, Christians. There's a lot more there. And the conviction with your voice when I hear you speak, that's how I knew not just comedy,
Yeah.
but entertainment.
It's speaking with conviction, what I think, man, that comes from is when you try to be educated and then you try your hardest to be honest, then when the words that come out of your mouth, you have a lot of confidence in them. You don't have to second guess yourself, or you don't have to worry if you're manipulating someone. So it's easier to speak with conviction. So that's kind of what I try to bring into my thought process before I let stuff come out of my mouth. Because it's a lot of bullshit that happened before I say some words. It's a lot of things that,
I'm sure.
that go on up there. But I try to, whatever comes out, man, I try to let it be something I can stand on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the. I have no clue, but I wonder in the process of being a comedian when you're coming up with determining what you're going to speak about and the jokes you're going to make. I'm sure you go through, what's that gonna do to my audience? What's this gonna do to my audience?
Yeah. I'm about to give some of my keys away, but that's all right. Whenever I do a show, like if I have the headline, say for instance, the Funny Bone or anywhere, or a church or a corporate gig, my first 15 minutes is really conversation. And the reason I'm really doing conversation because I'm trying to find out about the people that's at the show. That way, I kind of have a feel for what this audience is going to respond to in the beginning. So in the beginning, I am coming out to you. Once I come out to you, then I can latch on to everybody. Then at that point, I can bring you with me. A lot of artists sometimes gets on stage and be like, they better respond to what I'm saying. I don't think you're performing for the audience. I think you're performing with the audience. And in order for that to actually genuinely happen, you have to come down to their level first. Not level as in you're bigger, they're smaller, but come down and be with them. And then from that point. So I do think about, what joke's going to hit, what joke's not going to hit. I also think about, I can say this joke, but I have to change it a little bit because this audience might not respond to the way the other audience did. So I'll change it. I think that comes with experience too,
Have you ever had any detrimental consequences in using humor?
Not recently. When I first started, I had a lot of detrimental consequences using humor, just doing it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
But not recently, man. I think I've gotten to the point where, not every show is exactly the same, but I can pretty much come out most shows unscathed.
Yeah.
But comedians now, though, man, we're being silenced, man. It's getting hard to be a comic.
Expand on that.
I mean, when you think about the things that Kevin Hart is having to go through over a joke he did 10 years,
Yeah.
50, whatever, however long it was,
Yeah.
2010, not 10 years ago, roughly. When you think about,
What about a joke about blackface?
I was just about to speak on that when we talked about it yesterday. That's a dichotomy in a sense that, no, you don't. We understand what the internal pressures are as it pertains to blackface, especially right now in America, because it's a hot topic.
Yes.
And the context in which it is happening in, don't nobody, you don't want to do blackface. But then you get, was Jimmy Kimmel and, was it Conan?
I think so. Don't quote me, but I think so.
It was you get
Jimmy,
a couple of
definitely Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay, you get a couple of professional comedians that do blackface, and they were doing it in a comical way. And then one side, you're like, yo, you got to be careful because this does hurt people.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, it's kind of like, dang, man, comics used to be the ones that could have all the freedom to push the envelope.
Yeah.
And now we losing the Oscars now because of stuff we said before we were big.
That's tough. Yeah, it's tough. And I was not familiar with corporate comedy until I started reading more back on. I didn't even. I mean,
I love it.
I know that there's comedians that show up at the White House.
Yeah,
you see
correspondence
that.
dinners and things of that nature. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your corporate comedy.
So here's the deal, man. And I'm gonna say this as quick as I can possibly say it as to why I got into corporate comedy. So I was on the road for like 6 years when I was living in LA, and I was on the road about 45, maybe 50 weeks a year. Like I was never home. And but I always had to post stuff, I always had to hustle for people to come out, I always had to follow up with paperwork, I always had to like go to Cincinnati, put down my email cards. Once it's done, gather all my email cards, data enter them into my computer system. When I get to Kentucky, send back everybody an email back and I was in Cincinnati saying thank you, I'll be back. Then find a way to get back to Cincinnati. And I had to do this for every city. So I'm doing this for maybe 20-something cities within this period of time. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's
It
a
is.
tremendous amount of work. Then I noticed, man, the money that I was making, I could go to a set, Cincinnati for an entire weekend and make, let's say, $2,500 for the whole weekend. But it would cost me, $1,700 to make that $2,500. You do the math. You can't do that and think I'm making money. So, nah, you're really not making money.
Yeah.
Then I was like, there has to be a platform where I could make more money, do less work, be more impactful, and have more time to myself to be able to do these other things that I love doing. That's what corporate comedy comes in.
Got you.
And not only that, now when I go do the public shows that aren't corporate, I now have corporate sponsors behind me that can help me with these shows because I'm doing corporate comedy at their locations.
I never knew that comedy could be sold like a timeshare.
Oh, it is, bro.
Man,
it's an asset, man.
It is. I know. Yeah.
It's an asset. So, I mean,
because it's more than comedy.
Yeah.
You're using humor and conveying a message in a way to inform, educate, empower. And in the corporate environment, sometimes they need to find non-traditional approaches toward how to improve that. And what better way than to humanize people for a minute?
That's the word.
See, we people in the professional environment, they think professional, so everything's professionalized. They don't want to bring personal in. Personal's not professional. Can't bring emotional in. Too emotional, not practical. So sometimes I can see how corporate comedy can say, hey, we're just gonna basically loosen up the tie. We're gonna relax and recognize that,
Well, corporate comedy.
your breath stink.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
And we need
today.
to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that today.
It's affecting the workplace.
And I'm the guy that can come in, talk about it, be out. Don't nobody know who told me that this person's breath stink. But I brought it up. You know what I mean?
For a good check.
For a great check.
Man.
Less work, great check.
They create business opportunities, I imagine.
They do create business opportunities, even as it pertains to having conversations outside of the moment that I'm doing comedy. Like, for example, I saw a good friend last night who has helped me with a lot of corporate comedy stuff. And she's like, how's things been going, this, that, and the other. And I just wanted to thank her. I'm like, yo, in 1 year, this individual has been responsible for dropping 5 digits in my bank account just from corporate stuff.
Got you.
And I probably did, for those 5 digits, 3 hours worth of work for the entire year.
Wow.
Okay. So But I don't take it for granted though. I done busted my behind. There's another level of art as it pertains to being a corporate comic because you have to be less how can I say it, less I don't know how to put it, man. You can't be who you are at the Funny Bone.
Got you.
But you have to be just as effective and just as funny.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to change your dialogue to where it meets this environment, but still hits the Funny Bone the same.
Yeah, it's like Jordan at 40 in comedy.
It's like,
you got to know how to pass, you got to know how to shoot, you got to be an efficient, effective player, but you can't dunk on them.
You can't just
anymore.
keep dunking. Nah.
You know, because when you dunk on them, you say things that you can't say in corporate environments.
And you don't want to lose that check. You don't want to, and you don't want to lose that respect.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Because what happens is those same people that came to that corporate show will come to the Funny Bone or to a public event to see the other you.
Yeah.
You know, but they understand
and
that.
you're even funnier then. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Couldn't even imagine.
Exactly.
He actually said.
But it also tells you more about who they are, and it tells each other who they are to one another. Because if I tell the weed joke, for example, and then all of a sudden they bust out laughing,
Gotcha.
They can't talk about that at work.
Gotcha.
But at the Funny Bone, they can laugh at that. Now the boss is looking at the other boss like, hold on, son. Do we need to meet in the car? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you holding out.
Yeah.
You know? So it does give a different, you have to be a different level comedian to be able to go into the corporate environment and be impactful.
I'm just curious, when you're talking to these corporate professionals, who are you talking to? Are you talking about is this business development professionals or CEOs? Like, because you're talking about big companies.
Well,
I'm imagining.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what this. I don't know what the.
So, for example, Altria, which is a large company,
Yes.
very large company, they brought me out to Kentucky. And I do a lot of work with Altria, but they brought me out to Kentucky to do a show for like 40 people, and they all were vice presidents.
Got you.
So, but then Dominion Power brought me in to do a show for like 20 minutes, and it was all presidents, 300 presidents from Dominion Power across wherever their locations are.
Do you wear a suit when you're doing those shows?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I'll normally ask whoever the point person is, what is the attire and what is the event, because I don't want to show up with a suit on at 8:30 in the morning. Everybody got on jeans and a polo.
Yeah.
I look overdressed, like I'm doing too much, like I've never gotten one of these checks, like I'm that excited. I normally try to find out what the occasion is.
Got you. So yeah, I'm glad you got a chance to speak a little bit about corporate comedy, just because I was not really familiar with that, but I'm interested in now seeing you in that environment.
Well, let me say this about corporate comedy real quick. One more thing that I'll say is there are a lot of comedians like myself who, through corporate comedy, we're doing more, making more than some of the comedians you see often on television.
Yeah.
That's the thing about corporate comedy that a lot of comics don't like to do. No fame comes with it.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't walk through the mall and people ask for autograph because I'm doing corporate comedy, but I can walk through the mall and buy shit.
Yeah, but you are before I knew you, I was familiar with who you were.
What?
I mean, I know you're a humble guy, but I think you're more recognizable to people than you may even know. I mean, I was talking to PJ about it, but before he came to Roanoke, you got a presence in Roanoke. I mean, you got a national presence, but even in these rural places, you're in a lot of places.
Man, I'm blessed, man.
Hey, I got a joke for you. Oh my goodness, I got a joke for you. I don't know how funny it is. It's one of those things where it could be, it may not be taken the right way. You may not like this joke. I made the post on Facebook.
What'd you say?
I made a post on Facebook that we was having this interview. I just put a picture up. I think you saw the picture, right? My mom, I'm originally from North Carolina. So my mom watches the news like relentless. Shout out to my mom because she's probably watching on Facebook, wherever the Facebook. She's on Facebook, I'm sure. She's watching and she's probably like, I can't believe he's bringing this up. So my mom's like,
Shout out.
Randy,
Hey, Mom.
she's like, Randy, I can't believe you're getting on the internet with the lieutenant governor. She felt like she thought you looked like like, Mama, nah. She said, no. She said, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, Mom, I am not the lieutenant governor. Shout out to the lieutenant governor. He's dealing with a lot right now, man. And I have nothing bad to say about him, but that's not who I am.
We can't engage in those conversations.
No,
we can't speak on behalf of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are from outside the state.
Yeah, I'm from Alabama. I'm just here to just be and work hard and change lives. That's it.
Hey, man. So I just thought that was fun. I was like, man.
No. No, mom.
Quick glimpse.
No.
But can you speak a little bit more about the perception of the comedian though? Because
Yeah, man, I think comics, man, we normally are the thinkers of all things. We just share what we find the audience might want to hear in the moments that we're, invited to share. But in reality, man, if you sit down and talk with some comics, you probably have some of the deepest conversations you ever have in your life. I mean, sitting down with like a Cat Williams, who's a very intelligent man. Ricky, I mean, if you ever see some of the stuff that Ricky is now doing off the stage and just how he's sharing his other gift, the other part of his gift. But yeah, we some pretty deep people, man.
Yeah.
We're also comics have been through a lot. Like if you sit down, not that anybody else hasn't,
Yeah.
but if you sit down and talk to a comic, because the way our portrayal on stage is that we're happy, everything is great, life is good, we just want to walk around and laugh.
Yeah.
But man, it's a lot of pain behind that joy.
yeah.
A lot of pain. And with that pain comes lessons. With those lessons comes inquisitive thinking. With that inquisitive thinking comes education. And with that education comes growth.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that goes there.
Man, you ever thought about writing a book?
I have. Yeah, I have.
You have written one?
I have thought about. I've started writing 3, but I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I ain't lived enough yet. I mean, but my people, they keep saying, no, you just write it now and then follow up with something later.
Yeah.
What if you die? I'm like, hold on, dog. No, that's not what's about to happen. I'm gonna write it at 70. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm gonna make it. But yeah, I have thought about writing the book.
Well, I mean, you've done so much public speaking, and just in listening to it, it sounds like. Shout out to my wife. She just walked in the room.
What's happening?
It sounds like you have a book to write. It really does. It sounds like you have a book to write. I mean, I'm just speaking into it as I'm sure you already. You know where it's at.
Yeah. And I want to, it's like the more I learn, though, man. It's like, see, I think in life we have to have 2 things: a high willingness to learn and a high willingness to accept change. And what I know right now is what I know, but I'm learning. So as I continue to learn, some things I know now changes. And I don't want to put something in black and white right now, and then in 5, 10, 15 years, it totally changes.
Got you.
Now I have to rebuke myself.
I got you.
So I think that's a little piece of it, but at the same time, some of it though is just doing too many things at one time. I also have to figure out how to prioritize different things now to get the book in there, because I do think it needs to be something that's at the top of the list.
I mean, with all these checks coming in, it's hard to prioritize. I mean, you look at the biggest check, I guess, and then you figure out, where's this book going to come in at? Because a book it's time.
It does take a lot of time. A friend of mine, I even met a young lady last night. She was like, I want to ghostwrite. Another friend of mine, Michelle's like, yo, we just got to sit down and do the book. She's probably more upset with me than anybody because she's been pushing me to write. And I just been like, but I got things to do every day, but I got to get it done, man.
Which leads me to, I'm really curious, what's your 5-year plan right now? I know you got some goals, man, over the next 5 years. I'm just curious, what is on the verge from Micah Bamm Bamm White in the next 5 years?
What I can tell, there's 2 big things that's already in the work, and I'm headed to D.C. first thing tomorrow. Once I get out of church, I'm headed straight up to D.C. But one thing is, I want you to see what's going to happen early spring 2020. Something's going to happen, and then I'm also in the process of breaking the world record for the longest stand-up comedy performance by an individual, but also raising money for charity at the same time.
Say that again now?
I'm in the process of breaking the world record for the longest stand-up comedy performance by an individual, but also raising money while I do this process at the same time.
And what's that time? How long is that?
40 hours and 8 minutes, held by a cat by the name of Bob Marley, who's a white comedian. He broke it in Portland, Oregon. In his
Oh, my
hometown.
goodness.
Yeah.
So you're going to do a 40-plus hour set.
I'm looking to do 60 hours. Yeah, 60 hours. So the thing is, so people be like, you can't stay up for 60 hours. Every hour you get a 5-minute break, according to Guinness. So you can take those 5-minute breaks all at one time. I mean, at each hour, or you can accumulate them. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do, I have it planned out how I'm gonna do it.
I got you.
But this is the first time I've ever said that publicly. Actually, so yeah,
you heard that.
I just put a secret out there.
You heard that on the Randy Wilson podcast.
Yeah, so
you're going to break a record.
That's the
We will be
big thing.
podcasting at that record for probably 24 hours.
Okay.
Because we're
Come
gonna
on in for the last, up until the breaking of the record. Yeah.
there's a process in that where we have to at least break, use the bathroom, you know.
I think, what happens is in those things, I got a feeling that the first 5 hours it's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
Then those next 30 hours gonna be lonely.
Well, I'll tell you, look, man, sir, if you serve alcohol in some small plates,
There you go.
It-
Keep people there.
to keep it a balance.
Yeah. So, but the main thing about that though, Randy, is I want to raise money for the community in so many different ways.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing for that, because if I can be one person to become a center of attention that could give to so many different outlets,
Yes.
I feel like that's what we as humans are really all about.
Well, again, I'm not able to, pick your goals over the next 5 years, but I know that here in Richmond, Virginia, RVA has talent has to come back, and we're very hopeful that that's in the plan.
It is.
You know?
It is. When I started that, man, you and I talked a little bit about why I started RVA Has Talent. When I started that, I knew what needed to be done. I did not know how to go about precisely doing it. Now that I've done it, now I've been able to sit back from the table, correct all the things that needed to be corrected, learn from all the lessons that I learned that I could not see by knowing. I had to experience it. Now when we come back,
It's needed. I mean, if you can explain a little bit about how the nonprofits that picture came in.
So what happened was, so it's backing up a little bit. When I was living in LA, what I noticed, dude, is that everybody stands in line,
Yeah.
waiting to get a chance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is stupid. Like, why are you standing in line when you got the power to create whatever you want to create on your own? But yeah, you have to do a little bit more work to recreate it on your own. But if you do just a little bit more work, it's yours. Versus
The attention will come to you versus you go standing.
yeah, versus you. So the analogy that I use is imagine a bunch of people standing at a bus stop and these buses start showing up that's picking people up to make them stars. But when the bus pulls up to the bus stop, the doors open, but you can't just get on the bus. They get to pick who they want on the bus.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is they make money on you when you get on the bus. They also make money on you when they kick you off the bus. But you don't make money when you get kicked off the bus.
Yeah.
So they own both sides of your career. They own your success and they own your failure.
Yes.
Now, when
Horrible.
you fail, they can keep you at that level because now they're making money off of you without you being able to get anything from it. So it's like, how do I help cats create their own bus?
Comedy slavery.
Bruh. And it's not just comedy, hip hop.
It is.
It's
I mean, I think that's why this podcast space has been created, because you can create the attention right here. You said something yesterday that I know, man. I was like, I won't say what we were talking about exactly,
Okay.
because we're gonna move into something like that. But a lot of people think that success and mainstream entertainment and the media is so far away.
no.
And it's just a matter of it's right here. You just got to put the phone. James Lee said it to me before. You just got to put the phone in front of you and speak to the world.
There it is.
And if you're good enough or at the right time, you say the right thing, and you ain't got to say but so many things. And you ain't got to meet but so many people. But if you meet the right one.
The right one.
And that could strike you for a good,
That could change a lot.
that could change a lot.
If you don't understand that whatever your gift is, the ability to create what you want out of it, it's unlimited. You can't run out of this. You know what I mean? You can't. There isn't a certain amount of money, and once it's all accumulated, that's it. No, you just accumulate money.
Yeah.
It's money isn't even paper anymore. It's points now. So you know what I mean? It's like on this card thing,
Yeah.
and so many in cryptocurrency, and in ads, it's points.
Yeah.
So don't think just because it's only a certain amount of dollars in circulation that's it.
Yeah.
No. And that's what I want people to kind of understand, especially in the entertainment business. Yo, there is an unlimited amount of stages for stars.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, somebody got to wait till Kevin Hart comes down so they can raise up. No, raise up.
I mean, in the city of New York, that's why you have people, and in other major cities, that's why you have people just in the subway. I
Yeah.
mean, you create your own stage. You determine where you want to perform, and you determine the audience you want to capture, and you put yourself in a place so that you can capture that. The great thing about the internet is that you can just put the phone right in front of you.
Yeah.
And if you have some substantial content, then it's going to meet the audience that it's supposed to meet.
So this is show business, man. It's 80% business, 20% show. And what happens is most cats only focus on the show part. If you only focus on the show part, you're just setting yourself up to be another employee, because that means somebody else has to run your business.
Yeah.
And that's where the money is. The money's in the business, not in the show.
Yeah.
People that aren't funny, people that aren't talented can get paper,
Yeah.
but people that really only focus on their show normally ends up hating on the people that make it who they feel like they're better than. But that person is up on game when it pertains to the business.
Yeah, I mean as we were talking yesterday, that's my opinion on how a lot of comedians in the industry feel about Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of hate,
Man, I remember when Kevin first blew up. I was living in LA at the time. And man, standing outside of a comedy club called the J Spot. Shout out to J. Anthony Brown. Standing at the J Spot, and a comedian came up to me. I won't say his name, but he was just telling me just how unfair it was that Kevin got what he got. And he started naming other cats that didn't get what he felt like they should have got over Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell you mean over Kevin? I said, how could somebody get something over somebody when that person created it for themselves?
Like they playing defense against them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, man. So I think this mentality, bro, about collaborating, this mentality about I have to beat you. The only person you're in competition with in this particular game is yourself.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in competition with other cats, then you're a fool. Because it's kind of like building two houses. If you build in your house, I'm building my house. I only really have time to focus on my house. If I ever stop building my house to focus on yours, mine is lacking the development at that time.
Yeah.
I'm now focused on your house.
Yeah.
And you dig what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, I think about it with this whole podcast thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so focused on what I'm trying to do and in my efforts to collaborate. It's going to take the right amount of time to connect with the right amount of people so that we can have that synergy together, because
Right.
so many other people are building their own platforms, doing their own things.
And that's and it's okay.
And it's fine. It's just
Yeah.
it's about timing.
Yep.
It's about synergy. It's about compatibility.
Yep.
Compatibility of your passion and someone else's passion. Not only passion, I want to stress that. Not only passion, but your intelligence too, your competency. Like, you don't want to, there's a reason why you say that you're careful with your social media, because you don't want to just put anything out there that, I mean.
It's man, I've probably gone live, which is going off again, but I've probably gone live in my lifetime, man, probably. I downloaded this new app today, man, to repost your thing.
Yeah.
Now it keeps sending up commercials. I hate that, man. But this is probably like the 20th time I've ever gone live since live has been a thing.
I'm not surprised. The reason why is because this is new for me.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's new, I think, for our generation is because we came up in a generation of where you was told to not put all your business in the street.
Thank you.
You can't, not to expose all your self. Be a little bit private. There's some things that just should stay at
Certain
home.
things is just your business, man.
This is a time where everything's in the street. And as my mentor over there was talking to me about it, if you want to be successful in this business, you're going to have a balance of putting your stuff out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting comfortable with it. And
but being strategic about that.
Yeah.
It still has to be a process
Yes.
about that. I might, like, for me, my personal business that I put out in the street was me reconnecting with my daughter.
Yes.
I was very strategic about putting that out there, why I'm going to put it out there, how I'm going to put it out there, what information I'm going to allow to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so what people are now kind of into my world, they still only remained on the surface. They don't get the depths of what it's taken to build this relationship with my
Well,
daughter.
now that you've put it out there, do you get that question a lot? Like, so what is it like, being a dad? Or do you get that question?
Yeah, well, not so much what it's like being
I would be surprised. The reason why I say it, because maybe people will be reluctant to ask only because they know it's new. So, I mean, what are you going you should be careful on behalf of what you
You
ask.
know who talks to me most, man, now because of that situation are dads that are going through the same thing.
Okay,
They
I
talk
bet.
to me the most. Or so the dads that are going through the same thing right now are kind of like the ones that ask me the questions.
Yeah.
The dads that have overcome what I'm dealing with, they're the ones that put me up on game.
Got you.
So I'm getting from both sides. But that's
Okay.
who I'm talking to the most now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and also I'm talking to a lot of mothers of dads whose kids is going through that process. My son is going through the same thing. Can you talk to him? I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna tell him, but yeah, I'll talk to him if he needs some comfort, just some guidance or just some hope. I got him.
You acting like they ain't looking for another daddy. These mothers coming at you. Oh, Micah, your story. Oh,
No, they go. It's done.
Micah, I know you play golf.
Yeah.
I've been watching you, and you're pretty good.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
But I know. I saw you at the basketball game over at John Bibb School at Richmond
Yeah.
Prep. You're an athlete. What did you do? What was your background?
As far as athleticism,
You had a shot.
Yeah, well, I used to play ball big time. I actually
Yeah.
thought basketball was what was gonna carry me through college.
Mm-hmm.
Then I just stopped playing altogether. But I could ball. I was a dude that was 6'2", that could jump and touch 11'6". I could get my elbow up to the rim.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was that guy. But I played volleyball.
Okay.
And what a lot of cats don't know is that if you play volleyball, bruh, your jumping ability is about to go out the roof.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned, how to jump and play the game. But now I'm coaching volleyball, but I played baseball, played pretty much every position in baseball, played basketball, played semi-pro football when I moved to Richmond.
for real?
At the age of 20, my first time playing football. My grandmother would not let me play football because we didn't have insurance. That's another whole story, bro. But yeah, when I moved to Richmond at the age of 20, I went to this tryout for the Virginia Hornets and made the team.
Okay.
And got a story about that. I'll tell you how I quit. So, we had this game in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had
95 South.
we had this rule that if you get knocked out, that if you got laid out, you had to buy drinks for everybody that night at the club. Or the next time y'all go to the club, you got to buy drinks. So I was the end dude on the punt team. So I was the first one. I was called a headhunter. So I was the first one downfield to either take your head off, or I was the dude that went out for the pass if it was a trick play or a bad snap. Bad snap. I'm running out I see the snap. I'm running out for the pass. Man, I was wide open, like wide open. And Kermit, the kicker, wouldn't throw it to me. So I'm like, why you won't throw it? So he kicked it like 6 yards. I'm like, man, what the hell, dude? When I turned around, started running up field, I looked around. It was a dude looking at me just like I'm looking at you.
Oh man.
He had been running about 30 yards. Let me tell you about the day I met Jesus. This dude, man, he hit me so hard. So I'm on the ground, I'm laying there, and I'm like, all of a sudden, after 15, 20 seconds of trying to come back to, I was like, I got to get up. I can't let them. I want to be embarrassed. I got to get up. I got to get to the sideline. So I got up. I see my coaches running at me. I'm like, I got up, ran over to the sideline. I'm standing there, man. Like 5 or 6 seconds later, this dude walked over. He's like, hey, man, your sideline over there. I was on the wrong sideline.
Man.
Yeah. And I took a knee, and I was like, I think this is it. I think this is the day I retired. 2 years in. That was it. So, yeah.
So you seen God that day?
Yeah, boy, let me tell you, Jesus, he had that same white robe he had on the mountain in Matthew 9th chapter. Yeah.
Dreads?
I didn't see dreads. I didn't get to see dreads. Didn't even get to make out the face.
No.
But I knew it was Jesus.
No doubt about it. That's funny, man. We sitting here with Micah Bamm Bamm White, comedian Micah Bamm Bamm White, not just comedian, but businessman, entrepreneur, community leader, advocate. It's really good to have you.
It's good to be here, man.
It's good. It's NBA All-Star Weekend. I got my
Yo.
friends visiting, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. I want to change the conversation
Okay.
over, get away from comedy because I really want to talk music with you. I want to talk hip hop. I want to know your top five all time hip hop.
Top 5. Some people ain't gonna like this, man. You about to put me on blast with some people.
Top five.
Top 5. Do I have to put them in order, or just say who's in my top 5?
Nah, I'll give you mine, and I'll give you mine as well. 5 is hard for me to think of because I only think about my top 2 or 3 typically.
Okay, my top 5. I'm gonna have to say, in that top 5 is gonna be Pac, in that top 5 is going to be, I think it's an artist, Andre Three Stacks.
Okay.
Lyrically, 2 cats that I would have to put in there lyrically is Rakim and Eminem.
Man, I mean, he okay. He's in a lot of people's top 5.
I mean, like Game said, Game said this out his mouth. He said, everybody in the business know don't mess with the white boy.
I mean,
He would end your career.
Yeah, I mean, particularly in those aspects. I think the thing about M that I don't like, you can't knock his lyrics. You can't knock his ability to write.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy a lot of his songs. They're just too weird at times for me.
Well, I think music. Arrangement and things of that nature. That's another, because I can tell you some cats if I'm at a club that I want to hear that's not going to be in my top 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then last in my top 5, I'm gonna have to go with it's a tie, man, for me, and for certain reasons it's a tie between Jay and Busta. They are at the bottom. They're 5A, 5B.
I got you.
However you want to put it, between Jay and Busta Rhymes.
It's a very respectable group, though, because of what I hear you saying, and I like to hear you saying. I mean, Busta definitely doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Rakim doesn't get the recognition he deserves. It's almost like the community and people sometimes forget about certain people when someone else comes.
Yeah.
I mean, this happening in basketball right now. People are completely being disrespectful to Kobe Bryant because they're comparing just Jordan to LeBron. Like, hold on, Kobe just walked away. I mean, come on. And I know Kobe, he feels that, he hates that too.
I think if you look at, if we talk basketball for a second, but in that same vein, if you look at Kobe was the scorer that nobody liked. And the biggest thing in anything, especially in these days, is to be likable.
Yeah.
People like Michael Jordan because they couldn't see the asshole he actually was in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They only saw the frame shots. We got to see Kobe be a jerk, and it's not fair to Kobe because that's just who he is.
Yeah.
But everybody loves LeBron.
Yeah.
And anybody that don't like LeBron, it's like you literally are just hating. Like you are just hating because you don't want to see somebody else take your favorite player's spot.
Yeah, yeah. And not to leave music because I want to keep it in music, but if my wife is watching this, I used that last night also. We was talking about differences between liking and I was like, there's a lot of people who they liked Obama.
Yeah.
They liked him.
Yeah.
Oh, and because he was so well spoken, he was articulate, he presented it well. Liking him contributed a lot to what people's political and perception of him was. Versus with Trump, there's a lot of people who just don't like him.
No.
And because they don't like him, it interferes with their ability to be able to probably see the policy.
Oh yeah.
Same. So you can translate that over to music. You can translate it to comedy. You really could translate it over to a lot of things.
That's a human thing, man. That is a human thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that don't like their parents because they don't know that their parents are teaching and guiding
putting them up on game, on real game.
Yeah.
Trying to protect their little lives. Yeah, they don't get it though because they haven't experienced enough.
We're just showing our age a little bit.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
We had that stage now where we can turn around and be like, oh, that's what mom was talking about. But that takes a while. You got to pay attention to.
But I think that's why our generation right now is still has a strong purpose because as you see with music, comedy, business, it doesn't matter. As things evolve, we evolve.
Yeah.
And the quality of what we speak about, of how we address things, just everything with how we go about life, it's at a higher level. I mean, look, Hove to me, it's just no question.
Number one for you?
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Really?
I mean, I'm Hove all day. Now,
why is that?
I think because coming up, and if I'm gonna go back to my childhood, I mean, think about like when did I really fall in love with hip hop? I mean, the '96 Reasonable Doubt album. I mean, when I just think about the music, when I go back, and I think as Hove has evolved, we're trying to evolve in our own way, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like we follow. I mean, a lot of kids in the hip hop culture, particularly, you follow the leadership of what you gravitate to.
Yeah.
Hove's had Beyonce. Hove's been number 1. Hove's been The Rock. Hove's been, he's been everything. He's been triple Don Tanja, everything. He's Hove. He's everything. So, but everything about his life has been that too. How can you, as a person growing up, not desire and aspire for being the best, Hove
Being
as
that.
being
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I mean, and that, and that, it doesn't mean that I can't like other artists or other people. I can, but how can we argue with Hove? And this is still a young hip hop is still young.
You know, I think with Hove, if you
Who
asked me
who can we
what,
compare to Hove?
I think some cats you can compare to him, but I mean, when you look at
Go ahead. I'm curious. Go ahead.
when I say compare, I mean totally who is the full mix that Hove brings to the table. I don't think anybody.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think. But I think there are people that have done certain things in that vein where you talk about the businessman.
Oh yeah, like
You
the
know,
Dr. Dre's of the world or the Puff Daddies of the world.
the well, I don't consider Puffy a rapper.
Not well. I'm thinking business wise.
Oh, yeah,
His business on behalf of hip hop is up there with Hov.
Well, I guess I'm just meaning a rapper.
Yeah,
that turned his rap art into a full fledged business. You got LL Cool J. Definitely turned his art into a full fledged business. Eminem, people forget, man. Eminem signed 50 Cent. Yeah. I mean, and others.
I think that's why. I mean, he did, but I think where I struggle and fully giving all that Eminem, he had Dre, and because of Dre, why wouldn't anybody sign him?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who. Everybody had somebody. Hove didn't just come out of the ground as this king and all of a sudden, voila. No, Hove had cats around him that was putting him up on game. Hove was smart enough to pay attention and execute. And also Hove had his own mind as well. But everybody was put up on game by somebody.
I know, but if you look at how Dre put on M.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back and look at Dre then.
Okay.
So everyone puts on everyone. But Dre put on people who became megastars. 50
put on 50. 50's a megastar.
That's it.
But 50
That's it though.
50,
Obi Trice, no. Slaughterhouse, no. That other group, D4, what was it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
those guys. And that's what I feel like is exposed M. When we get into that top 5 conversation, or we get into where like M fits into hip hop, obviously he's a GOAT. I mean, I can't say that. But I'm saying when you compare him to those who have put on other kings in the industry.
No, I don't think M is at the top of the game. I'm just saying he's one of those people that that have expounded his art into a business and a business that has made money. It has turned over numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Regardless of how he's done it. Just like when they was talking about when Jay and M went on the Live Nation tour.
Yeah.
They put M on the tour because they knew Jay couldn't sell without M. Yeah. Especially in the markets they went in.
Yeah, I mean, he has a pocket.
Oh, dude. I mean, and first of all, when you think about a white boy, you know how hard you got to work as a black man to be a president of a white-owned company? Can you imagine how hard you got to work as a white man?
Yeah.
To be at that level in a black-owned company?
Yeah.
That ain't easy, bro, because we ain't giving up nothing.
Yeah.
We got so little, we ain't giving up nothing.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. We got about 7 minutes on the hard video, and we're gonna wrap this live up here in the next 7 to 10 minutes. We may be back, but I know we have a lot of local folks watching us, and I don't want to not acknowledge that because they help build the foundation of the base.
Yeah,
and we spoke a little bit about it yesterday. I shared with you that I definitely feel like there's something happening here in Richmond in the hip hop community. It's something happening. Yeah. We what that is, I don't know all of it, but I like it and some things feel good.
Yeah.
Do you have favorite Richmond hip hop artists?
I do have favorite Richmond hip hop artists. Noah.
You have a top 5?
Radio. I don't know if I have a top 5 or not. In Richmond, man, I'm about supporting.
Yeah.
I'm not really about judging who's better than who.
Hey, that's a comedian skill set right there, though, because that's one of those things. Like, you got to be careful when you go top 5 on that.
Yeah.
Because you want to respect and build. We want to build up Richmond.
Yes.
So we don't want to categorize in that aspect. Yeah. But
my favorite, I will say I do have a favorite, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on this particular podcast. It is what it is. Tamir. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen, or think in the near future I will see someone as dope lyrically and the thinker
Yeah.
that Tamir is.
Diverse.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, the stuff he would bring to the stage, painting, the rapping backwards, just the artistry
Yeah,
behind
man.
his art.
And when I think about Tamir, that really opens up a whole nother conversation, because I want to have a conversation later
Yeah.
about how, as artists, we go through different things, and when you're building a family or when you're having to focus on your bread and butter
Yeah.
and all those things, how it can conflict
It can
with
put
the
things on
artistry.
pause. It can put things on
Yes,
pause.
because a lot of
Respectfully so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've all been through that.
Yo, so Tamir, remember we was talking about yesterday, and we were talking about what did I think about Richmond as it pertains to how we're moving as a community in art.
Yeah.
And I said that I'd see where Richmond is doing good, but Richmond is safe. Like, the cats here are so safe.
Yeah.
Nobody's really pushing the needle. Everybody's just kind of like, okay, this is the status quo. This is what a barometer is. Well, shoot, all I got to do is stay here. Tamir was one that was pushing. He was pushing the needle. First of all, the thought to go on stage and paint an upside down painting while I rap, the thought of it is crazy within itself.
Yes.
Then to go and do it,
Yeah, successfully.
that's successfully,
At the Canal Club.
bruh. That
You know what I mean? That's
that's
because your audience there is gonna give it to you if it's some crap.
because here's what I mean by just doing it. Even when you do it successfully, even more so the pressure, because now what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Okay, so this is what you did. Wow. Yo, let's go see Tamir.
I mean, the only thing we compared it to at that time was Nas. I don't know if I'd seen it done. I never seen it done with painting.
Nah.
See, that's requiring you to use your these gifts with these gifts, and man.
But my point is, it's not safe, man. It is pushing the envelope. It's being not afraid to fail. Richmond, man, I feel like these cats are scared to fail. And I'm just like, yo, if you failed, so what?
So can you give me an example of what pushing is without getting into the artistry of it? I mean, can you give me an example of what type of things Richmond artists need to do to get better?
If I go
exposure?
see 4 hip hop artists in LA, which I have done, 4 hip hop artists I've never heard of, and I go to a regular show, every stage setting is going to be different. It's going to be big. Everybody's going to make you remember them in a different way.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to feel the same.
got
Everything's
you.
going to feel different.
I got you.
And everything is going to feel powerful. It's going to be big.
Yeah.
If I go to a show in Richmond that's a hip hop show, or really whatever show, just about everything feels the same.
Yeah.
Everything looks the same.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of stays within this safe space. Nobody pushing the envelope. And when I walk away, I'm not really saying to myself, like, yo, I gotta go see this dude next time. I would like to go see them, but I'm talking about that I have to go see them next time. I went and saw a rock band in a basement in LA. Dude, I bought everything that I don't even listen to rock. But when I left, the feeling was so big that I bought everything that they had made on iTunes right then. And I became real cool with the drummer, started hanging out, blowing glass with him. I mean, I wanted to be around these dudes.
Yeah.
I don't get that from Richmond.
I got you.
I got what cats are here are very good. They're very talented, but they're safe.
Well, I think that can easily go back to why RVA has talent is needed. But and there would be certain artists in Richmond that would probably, some, I don't know. I think there would be some that would probably even stray from that platform only because trying to do it their own way.
Yeah.
But that platform is already shown to be a proven system. I mean, it's a proven system, not just because of RVA has talent, just because of the voice. And it came, I mean, the inspiration.
RVA has talent. It's not a rewrite of something new.
Yeah.
It's an added feature as it pertains to the nonprofit and the artists being put together, because I feel like in a city like Richmond, you have to create a cycle. So that's the reason I started RVA has talent, because the artists have to be supported by the community. But where we are here, the community first needs to know that the artist gives a damn.
Yeah.
So if I can go on stage and say, every time I hit the stage, My Brother's Keeper will make a certain amount of money, then My Brother's Keeper will always promote me being on stage.
Yeah.
So the money cycles. So I get money from the community, I keep some, I give the community initiative some, and it keeps going.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we need to do here in Richmond. That's the difference with RVS talent. But as far as the idea displaying artists and trying to put artists on a major stage. That's not new, man. We've
Yeah.
been doing this since
Yeah.
talent shows back in the 20s,
Yeah.
you know? So it's not new.
Yeah, man. We sitting here with comedian Micah Bamm Bamm White. We're about to close up for now. We probably will be back. We're going to just take a break. And Micah, can you give them your information so if they want to find out more about you?
Yeah, hit me up at Comedian Bam, Comedian BAMM. I'm on Instagram and also on Twitter. Micah, MICAH, Bam Bam, BAM-BAMM White on everything else if you want to Google me. And mbbwhite.com for my website. Let you know some stuff that I got going on. I also see some videos.
You recognize he's a professional at doing this. He's been doing it a long time. Clearly, he has an elevator speech already paved out for you. And if some of those corporate sponsors are paying attention, my name again is Randy Wilson. Please follow me at R. Wilson Podcast. We're not just podcasting. We're professionals, and I'd love to connect with you because we need some sponsorships here.
There it is.
Like these walls are bare.
Let's fill them up, bro.
We need to fill them up. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're an artist out there right now and you're interested in having your art displayed on this wall, please let me know. I want to keep it moving. It's my effort to uplift the community, promote you, at the same time, give the room some, give it something because
Some personality.
It's a lot missing. It's a lot missing here right now. But just really happy that all of you followed. You really got to check this guy out, comedian Micah Bamm Bamm White. If you have not, Google him. You'll see about 20,000 links. I went through them before getting prepared for this interview. We're going to take a break now, grab some food, hit the bathroom. We may come back later. I want to get into NBA All-Star Weekend. I want to shout out my folks that are in Charlotte, my boy Stephen D. Smith. Let me just share this with you. Stephen D. Smith from Charlotte, North Carolina, actually Fort Mill, met Stephen A. Smith. It was his dream. He actually got called up. Shaq called him out. Shaq was like, hey, I didn't know we had a celebrity in the crowd tonight. He was like, who? He's like, there's Delonte West. Because he has red hair and a red beard. They brought Stephen D. Smith up on the stage. His following took off.
Wow.
Oh, man. And I mean, he's a student at it. He's been doing it for about 3 years. And so I want to shout out Stephen D. Smith because Stephen he's really been promoting. He's been promoting what I'm doing, and I just want to promote him. We got Rousey, the dog. Ronda Rousey is in the house, too. It's okay. He likes dogs. So, hey, we'll get back to you all. Stay tuned. Keep following us tonight. I think Tamir's coming through. I'm not sure. We might have some more conversation on this local system.